Meet Gavin, an American who moved to China to study at the country's top university. After graduating, he built a massive following online, worked with major brands, and carved out a career inside China's fast-moving digital world. In this episode of China Unpacked, we unpack what living in China really taught him, how to succeed inside one of the world's most competitive creator ecosystems, and the difficult lesson he learned after losing a major channel.
Oh, jeez.
Somewhere along the way, Gavin says his American dream slowly faded,
American dream doesn't exist anymore.
replaced by the Chinese dream. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of China Unpacked. And this episode, we have a very special guest for you. This guy, he has mastered the code of Chinese social media. And not only that, he has graduated from the #1 university in China, Peking University. So, without further ado, let's welcome Gavin, aka 北大留子盖尔.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gavin. I'm from Arizona, but I went to Peking University for my undergrad, and I studied culture industry management for 4 years, and I graduated last year in July, and I've been doing social media in China for almost 3 years now. It's been quite a while, and yeah, my account is called 北大留子盖尔.
Wow, so let's go back to the beginning of time. What was your upbringing like, and at what point did China come into your life?
Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting and complicated story. Honestly, ever since I was a kid, I did not want to leave America. I was like, I'm gonna stay in Arizona for the rest of my life. I was stuck in that thought. And then, I don't know what it was. In high school, we started having this language requirement to graduate. And you had to take 2 years of a foreign language, and it was French, English, Spanish, Chinese, and English, of course, sign language English. Sign language, I was not really interested in. Spanish, Arizona and Mexico are right next to each other. We grew up speaking Spanish. I was like, that's too easy. And then French, my family speaks some French, so I was like, nah. And I was like, Chinese, that's interesting. And if a lot of people don't know, Arizona is filled with Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, a lot of just culture and people in general. And so I've been surrounded by that since I was 3, I guess, since I was a kid. And so I kind of grew up with it, and I was really interested, but I never had the opportunity to really take advantage of it and grow. And so I was like, that might be kind of fun. And my brother was already taking Chinese, and he loved it. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And I took it with some of my friends, and I instantly loved it. Loved it.
What part of it made you love Chinese?
I think that what really made me super head on into Chinese was, one, of course, the culture that we'd learn about in class. We'd watch movies, listen to Chinese songs, watch Chinese music videos and everything. So that, of course, was also really interesting to see how life is in China. And that was a shocker to me because I've never seen that before. And then along with that, it was also just the language itself. Everyone said it was going to be so hard and so, one of the hardest languages to learn as an English native. But I honestly don't think so. The grammar is fairly similar to English in most cases. A lot of the words are directly translated, but I really found the characters themselves really interesting. By analyzing those small bits and pieces, once you learn the basic 100 characters, you can kind of start to guess what other characters mean. And so it's kind of a fun game, I guess you could say, at first for me. And that was really what kind of struck me, that got me really intrigued. Because it was a challenge. It was a challenge. I will not deny that. I put a lot of effort into studying it. I wish I had them with me. I think it's 4 entire shoe boxes of note cards, that you flip back and forth when you're studying, vocab words. And I wrote them all by hand, and it's one side is the Chinese characters, other side is the English, and then the character stroke order. So I wrote it out in every single stroke order. And then I have tens of thousands of those at my house. And I would go through those every time I had free time during high school. It was a challenge, but again, like I said, it was fun because you can start to put pieces together, and it's like a giant puzzle. And once you get it to fit together, it's satisfying almost. It's satisfying. And so that's
Yeah,
really
it's
what intrigued
rewarding.
me. And then I was like, well, wait, I want to see more. Like, this isn't enough for me. And then my mind from wanting to stay in Arizona forever was like, well, maybe I should like study abroad. And then when I went to look into it, the Arizona schools, if you study abroad, you have to redo that entire year of high school back in Arizona. So I was like, well, I can't do that. So I started going to China in the summers. So my freshman, sophomore, and junior summers of high school, I was in Beijing doing a Chinese language school for about 2 to 3 months every year. And I was just here by myself. My family didn't come with me. I just flew in a plane by myself and I took classes and loved it. And I loved the life here and the independence and just the culture and really everything, the people. And I think that's what really stuck in my mind when I went back after that summer of junior year of high school and I had to start choosing for my universities. And I was like, I originally wanted to go to UCLA or like some other really, big school in the US, Harvard, that everyone dreams of or whatever. And then I was like, oh, do I actually want that though? Because there's other schools outside of the US that I can apply for. I was like, why do I limit myself? And so I applied for Peking University and Tsinghua University, the top two schools in China.
When you apply to Peking University and also Tsinghua University, what was the process like?
Process is a little bit tricky, especially now. Some of the rules have changed in the past like 2 years. When I was applying, the rules had just made a really big change to be really strict. And so for me, I had applied, of course, with my SAT, ACT, and then I had a 4.0 all 4 years of high school. And then I was doing community college at the same time as high school during high school. So in the morning I go to high school, afternoon I go to community college. And so I gave them my transcript of that because I had gotten my basically associate's degree from the community college. And that was also like a 3.9 or something. And then I had to give them, I was the president of 4 clubs in high school. And then other like volunteer, I had like 100 hours of volunteer work and other, all sorts of other random stuff. And so I gave that to them. And even with all that, I got denied from Tsinghua, which is crazy, yeah. And then I got accepted to Peking, thank God. And then I got in, but even that's not the final step. That's like you get in the door, that's your foot in the door. And then the real step is you have to take the test that everyone in China frets, the Chinese Gaokao.
I would have assumed that you have to take the Gaokao first, the college entrance exam first, and then only then you'll be able to be accepted. But so you're telling me it's
unfortunately not. It kind of, the recent years they have changed the order a little bit, but for when I was applying, it was you first have to just get yourself recognized first and accepted in the door, and then you have to prove yourself by your Chinese level and your Chinese knowledge and everything knowledge, and take the Chinese Gaokao. And you have to pass with a score that's very similar to the Chinese students. Like of course, as foreigners, they give us a little bit of leniency because we're foreign. We're not going to know. Part of the test is the ancient Chinese like poem, basically reading, and that is the hardest thing for anyone, basically, but especially for foreigners because we're not going to know that. We didn't grow up with that, so they give us a little bit of leniency on the score that we have to get, but it's not much. It's like 50 points. So yeah, we had to take that, which was so fun. I loved that. Right when I graduated high school in 2020, COVID hit, everyone was online, everything was canceled, no flights, countries were closed, everything was shut down. It was a mess. And I had gotten into Peking University and to UCLA. I got turned down from Tsinghua, but I still got into Peking, and that was my main one that I wanted to. And then, but I was like, I got into UCLA too, and like I can't go to China right now with all this COVID happening, so maybe it would make more sense to go to UCLA. If I did that, then all of my past 4 years of high school and all of my knowledge and excitement would be just put to waste. And so I was like, let's just stick with it, let's go to China and see what happens. And so I accepted the offer, and they came back and they basically told me, because COVID, you can't come in person, unfortunately, and the online experience isn't going to be the best. So they recommended me to do a year of, it's called pre-university. because this is easier to do online for a year. And after a year, hopefully, no one knows, but hopefully COVID will be over. And then you can come in person to start your degree of 4 years, your bachelor's degree, in person, have that full college life experience and everything. I was like, great, let's do that. And so I did that, and it was absolute hell. It was hell. Oh my God. The pre-universities in China are a different level. Like you could say I was fluent in Chinese at that time when I started pre-university, but when you start pre-university, it's just a whole different level. You are in classes of Chinese classes, 6 to 8 hours a day, pure, straight on, for 5 days a week. And then you have hours of homework every day. And it's not just normal homework. It's like writing full-on essays and doing research reports in Chinese, doing like insanely complicated math in Chinese, which, if you don't know, in China, they don't allow you to use calculators in math classes. You have to do everything by hand. And so I went into this pre-university thinking, hey, I'm good at math in America. Like I'd gotten all A's in all my calculus classes and everything. I got this. And then I went into class in the pre-university and I was like, what is this? You have to learn everything from the start again. And it was hard. Like I barely passed the class. And that's saying a lot because I was good at math in the US. And then I got here and I'm like, dang, I kind of suck. And so I got like a 65% in math, and I did good in other classes, but it should show how just high level and hard this pre-university is. It's just pure hell for an entire year. And then the thing about it though, it's great. It's amazing. It's terrible, but it's amazing. Your Chinese level will boost so fast, so ridiculously fast. Like the way that it prepared me for your bachelor's degree was insane. I started my bachelor's degree and I felt nothing. I was like, oh, this is easy. They said it was going to be hard. This is so easy. And I felt like I was just, speaking in English at that point because I'd been through so much hard studying before. And so that was the pre-university year. And then after that, it just went into my bachelor's.
So was it easy? Like once you get all that finished, you finally made to the university. Was it a lot easier?
No. Well, yes
It's
and
still
no.
hard.
Because in between getting actually started at the university and after the test, there's still another step. You give the top 3 or 5 majors that you are interested in when you apply. And then once you take the Chinese Gaokao, the Chinese test, and you pass that, then the schools themselves, the major schools, they will look at your test scores and your everything. And they will say if you're good enough or not for their school. So yes, you got into Peking University, but you did not get into any department or major yet. And so that's a whole different conundrum where it's like I had applied for international relations and I had applied for international business and also applied for the culture industry management. I got denied from my first option, the international relations, and then I also got denied from I can't do that. Wrong finger. Sorry. I got denied for my first and second option, and then my third one, the one that I ended up doing, got accepted because the first 2, they had a really high math requirement. My hand-solving math skills were not quite up to par when you compare it to Chinese students, and so I got chosen by my culture industry management major department or whatever, because the math requirement wasn't quite as high. And thank God I did, because I ended up loving the major, and that's exactly what I do for work here now in China. So it was fate, I think. But yeah, it's just a grueling process. But once you're in the school, like once you're starting your classes, it's fine. Like it's really not that hard, I didn't think. Just normal university stuff, I feel like. It was nothing insanely crazy, except for the amounts of classes that we had to take. That was ridiculous. Oh, geez. We had to take 15...
Like per semester?
Yeah, per
Like
semester. Per semester, we had to take like 15 classes. Which in America, if you have gone to university, you take like 4 to 7 at max.
Yeah.
And we take 15. A lot, or like 12 is the minimum. and then 15 is like
Whoa.
the max, and you can apply to do like 17 or 20. It's ridiculous. But you have
That
to
is
graduate.
wild. I mean, how do you even have time for all the midterms and exams? I mean, there's like what you're gonna have like 12 finals in like 1 week.
Yeah, pretty much.
wild.
That's basically how it works. And you arrange your schedule in a way where the classes that you choose are mostly like essays or reports or papers. That way, when you come to the finals and midterms, you're not taking 12, 15 midterms. You're taking maybe 4 or 5, and then the other 6 or 10 or whatever are just essays that you had written throughout the semester. That's what I had done, and it took so much pressure off of me. So that's why maybe for me, university didn't feel that hard, because I was really smart about how I chose classes. And so I really planned it to make me also be able to have a life and start to develop my business kind of side and my work side. So it kind of worked in my favor in that case. But a lot of people, they're not quite as diligent when they're coming to choosing classes, and they end up choosing classes that kind of frick them over, I guess you can say. And so they struggle.
Wow. So you managed to do 4 years, graduate in 4 years on time.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I was online for
Well-
2 years, but then the last 2 years were in person. So I kind of missed my university life experience, but only half of it. I still had a great last 2 years.
What do you like about the Chinese university experiences? What are some of your favorite parts of it?
I think, of course, I loved the university itself, but I think that what I gained the most was the opportunities from being in China at university during this time. So I don't think it was really the university that gave me as many opportunities. It was more like the opportunity to be at the university at this time of my life. I was able to make other opportunities for myself through it. And so I had started, using my free time here to, I met a lot of, CEOs or other brand leaders, and I'd gone to events that usually in the US is very unheard of. You can't just go to an event where you'll meet a CEO or that's full of, brands. And so you can that is what they do here. You can go to those places, you can meet these people, you make connections, and then use those connections to build upon connections. And you use that to grow yourself and grow your brand and grow everything about you. I think it was really that gave me the most opportunities rather than the school itself. But of course, I did love being at the school, meeting classmates and seeing everyone who's just so different, because China is so vast that everyone from different parts of China, they're all so different. Not just how they look, but how they think, their ideologies, everything. And so it was really interesting to be able to meet everyone from everywhere around China and then become friends with them, increase your, Chinese level, Chinese knowledge. And even like the first year I'd gone back, one of my Chinese friends invited me to go back to his house for Chinese New Year, which was a crazy experience. And so it wasn't really the school that gave me the opportunities, but it was also the school that gave me the opportunities, if that makes sense.
So at what point did you start to make social media videos on Chinese platforms?
So I had started originally not with social media, actually. I had started when I just came to China, because I'm American. In America, in high school you start working, you start making your own money. And so I'm still in that mindset when I come to China. So I started looking for like jobs to do, basically. And so I started doing some acting and modeling. And then I made pretty good money from that. And I was in a few really big advertisements and some like short films, short movies. And I got recognized by this middleman agency. In China, we call it an MCN. It's like a social media management company is what you could understand it as. And so I got recognized by them, and they contacted me because they somehow knew one of my friends. And they're like, hey, do you maybe want to get into social media at all? We want to work together with you to create this account. Like we're really into this like food and culture aspect of China, and we're really wanting to work with you on an account to really grow it up and stuff. And I was like, I guess, sure. Like it was not at all what I was planning to do, because from the start, I'm not someone who's really, I was never thought to be in front of the camera as a job at all ever. And so being asked to be an influencer, basically a creator, I was like, I guess I can try. And so I started with that, where I worked with them, and we had made this food vlogging account in China where I would go across China, mostly in Beijing, of course, because that's where I'm based, and I was a student still. But all across China, I try all this crazy food, all the intestines, I try all the bugs, all the super spicy, Chongqing hot pot, everything. And for the most part, I loved it. Like, it was good. A lot of the stuff that, people think is weird, like intestines, if you eat it where it's made right, oh, it's so good. It tastes great. It looks crazy. And so you have to get over that, like, mental side, basically. But anyway, so from that, I loved it, enjoyed it. And then through over a year's period, we grew the account to, it was like 1.6 million followers.
What's a Chinese food that you still just can't get used to out of everything you tried?
There is one food that's in Yunnan, the south of China. It's called zheorgen. Zheorgen is like, I think it's a root of a tree. It's some kind of like plant. But it's like, it tastes like you're drinking fish tank water. It's disgusting. Like, oh, it's so
fishy.
bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my God, I've tried every form of it. I've tried the tea that's made from it. I've tried, there's like lemonade that they make with it. I've tried hot pot. I've tried the dipping sauces. I've tried the fried, like, with potatoes and everything. I can't. It's so bad.
What?
No matter how I eat it, I can't.
It's in so many different things.
But even a lot of Chinese don't like it. Most Chinese do not like it. Only very few like it. So it's not just my fault. But it is
Acquired taste.
to this day, I have tried, every time I come across it, I'm like, okay, let me try it again. Maybe I'll like it this time. Every single time, I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever had. It's so bad.
What was it that people liked about you or about the channel itself that you think that got that many followers?
I think that the thing that really brought people in was, one, I'm a foreigner, which I know this sounds so bad on like Western, to like the Western mind, this sounds terrible. But in China, this is honestly just how it is there's not as many foreigners here. We are the minority. And so when there's a foreigner doing social media and I'm speaking fluent Chinese, they're like, oh, whoa, like, what is this? And then they're first like, brought in by me, by my looks. And then they start to see like what I'm doing, what I'm eating. And they're like, oh my God, he's eating that? Like, I don't even like that. What the heck? How can he eat that? And so they really like to see my reactions, either if I love it or if I hate it, a fun experience or something like that. It's just content that they're interested in. They're curious about me, curious about my experiences and how I'll appreciate their cultures and their foods. And so I think that's really what brought people in, was just curiosity and the appreciation of culture.
What was the type of video that just goes viral more than the other videos?
The dumbest videos go viral. I tell you, literally every single
country.
time, it's just the dumbest videos. I think that people in America should know this too. There's a Chinese chili oil called lao gamma, like old dried mom. I don't know what they translate it to in English. What do they translate it to? Anyways, it's like a Chinese oil. Everyone in America knows it because it's just so good. And so there was an old trend in China where it was like a super young guy or a super young girl, and it's like they're married to a really older person. And so when people see that at first, it's written out. They don't see anything yet. It's just in letters or in numbers. And so it's like 2001 marries 1987 or something. And people will click into it because they're like, what the heck? Why are they marrying? Whatever. So that's like clickbait. They click in and they see it, and it's like me. Here, I'll use this. I don't think it's bad. This is like the lao gamma, the chili oil, and it's me holding it. And this is the 1987 or whatever because it was made in 1987. And then me, of course, 2001. And then it's like me like kissing it because I love it so much or whatever. And then it just went crazy viral because people thought it was one thing and then it ended up being another. But it was funny and hilarious because a white guy loves like a Chinese chili oil. And yeah, it went crazy viral on every single platform, like tens of millions of likes and then like hundreds of millions of views. It was hilarious. And it started a whole trend where everyone copied it with other Chinese snacks, and it was great.
I'm curious, when you're working on that food channel, did you have a lot of autonomy that could, because I remember you said you were signed to this MCN, right? Do you get to say, hey, I just want to make this today, I just want to make that today? Tell us like how does working with an MCN in China is like.
So MCNs in China are not my favorite. They're not most people's favorites. So how it worked with my account was I was approached by them, right? And I had no idea how this was gonna work. But I had assumed that it was like you were gonna say, like you had said, that I would, give my input, they would just help make it come true, basically. Unfortunately, that's not how this company specifically worked. They had their own ideas. They were like, we want it this way and this time, like blah, blah, blah. And then at first I was like, okay, whatever. Like I was there to learn. The whole point of me working with them was not to become an influencer. That was not my goal. My goal was to learn like the industry ins and outs. And so I just kind of like went with it. And I was like, I don't really mind. Like the whole point is to learn. So I was like, sure. And so they would mostly guide everything, to be honest. They gave me a whole team. I had like an editor and assistant. I had a sales team basically to help, get ads and stuff. And at first I totally understood like them wanting to take the lead because, they're professionals in this. Like I want to listen to them because they know what is the best thing to do to grow the account really fast. And it worked. It did work. After the beginning, I was like, okay, well, maybe we could do this a little bit or like this kind of thing or like add this small part in it because I think that would be funny. And then they started to be like, well, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, fine then. And then that was kind of all I could do. Like I couldn't really say much because the account, my bad again, but the account was registered under their name. They had registered it and then just given it to me basically. And so they technically had full control over it. I could log into it, but they could also take my login out anytime they wanted. We'd grown this account up and just following everything they wanted to do, which had worked for a long time. And then it got to a point where it just didn't. It just was not working. Everything just went downhill. And I knew exactly why. And I had told them multiple times. They were
What's the reason?
The reason was just social media changes all the time, right? Mm-hmm. It's nonstop change. And as like a creator, you have to change with it. And of course you change with your own style, but you have to change. The problem was they weren't changing at all. Instead, they were kind of going back in time to do really old kind of styles that were proven to not work. I was like, hey, this style would be great. Like it's fitting for me and this account. Maybe we could try like a spin of that. Or even posting 2 videos of like the same thing, but in 2 different styles. And they were just not into it. And I had tried to fight pretty hard for it for a while. I was like, I really think this would help. Like I had made like PDFs and like PowerPoints where I was like analyze the data. Because again, this is my major I'm learning in school too. So like I know what I'm doing. And so I'd made all these like tables and everything, and I'd use the data from the back of the system of my account to like prove what I was saying, where I was like, this will succeed, or it has like this % of succeeding. And they were just like, no. And so it got to a point where I'm like, okay, like if you guys don't want to change and everything I say isn't going to do anything, then it makes no sense for me to keep putting in effort. And so this happened at like after the year point. And I just stopped putting in effort. I was like, you guys want to do what you want to do? Okay, I will listen to what you want to do, but I'm not going to put in any more effort. I'll just do what you tell me to do. And then it just kept going more and more downhill. And then it got to the point where after the next contract ended, I was like, I'm not renewing. Like, sorry, I'm not renewing. And so I left, and I used all those skills that I learned from them to create my own new accounts. And that's what I did. And I successfully have, multiple accounts now that are huge. And I've had no problems with it because I know how to grow it. And I actually enjoy the content that I do. And I interact with my followers. And, I actually cherish and value everyone and everyone's time and everything. And they just didn't before.
You have multiple accounts with millions of followers. So tell us about your other accounts that you growed after this first channel.
After that, my company grew a little bit more, and we got noticed by Tencent, which is a very big company in China known for technology, gaming, media, everything really. and we got noticed by them. They at first had just asked me to like do a partnership with one of their other influencers who had like a few million followers. I was like, cool, it sounds fun, sure. Did it. The video was great, and it happened to be an ad, and the client loved it. And so they went up to Tencent, and they told them, they're like, this like person that you guys collabed with was amazing. And they came to me and they're like, hey, do you want to work with us on another account to do cars? And so when I heard that, I was like, oh heck yeah, like that seems like a crazy awesome opportunity. And it was really, really awesome. And I learned so much too. And so with them, you know, they're a giant company. They really know how social media works, and they know how to grow it really fast, but also they have money. So in TikTok, you know, you can boost a video. Same thing on Chinese social media. And so they invested quite a bit in the account to really boost the videos, not to buy fake likes or anything, but just to boost it so that it would get more of a reach. And so my account grew insanely fast. It grew to I can't even remember. I think it was like 2.6 million followers really, really fast. And again, it was the same thing as the food vlogging channel. It was like a foreigner speaking fluent Chinese talking about Chinese cars. That's unheard of. First of all, in general, there's even on the Western social media, no one's talking about Chinese cars because they can't get their hands on them. So I was the only one doing it, and I was doing it pretty good. And it was a challenge because Chinese car vocabulary, oh my God, that is hard. It is not the same as any other Chinese I'd learned before. And so it was a struggle trying to, you know, film that stuff and learn it, but it was also really cool. And so I grew from that, but then at the same time, I was also doing my own like personal account just by myself with no other collaboration company basically. And I grew that to, let me think. In total now it's like 400,000 followers, but that one's not like any specified industry. It's just like a daily life kind of thing. And so it's just me sharing like culture stuff or like daily vlogs when I go traveling or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so those two accounts are the main ones that I have now. But the car one, unfortunately, recently I did stop doing because of kind of similar problems as the last one. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of MCNs. And originally when we had talked about working together with my car account, it was to be that my car account was going to be the test account. And then we were basically going to create a foreign car creator, basically department at Tencent, where I was the test account to make sure that it would work, that these brands would be interested in, you know, paying for these ads and everything. And it was like my account made a lot of money. But unfortunately, they weren't really equipped to work with foreigners as well. Like a lot of other foreigners, they might not be quite as good at Chinese, or they might, you know, they might not understand the Chinese thought process, and it causes a lot of other communication problems. And so that just kind of turned them off from creating an actual department for foreigners, even though there is still the need for this in China. All these Chinese car EV brands that are wanting to, you know, go outside of China, they are wanting these Chinese or these foreigner influencers so bad, but there are none here. But it wasn't really a department or industry that Tencent was capable of doing, or doing right at least. And so when my last contract had ended, I kind of decided, I was like, you know what, it's fun and I actually do really enjoy it, but it restricted my other personal account that I couldn't film any car videos or content or accept any car ads. And so I was like, I might actually rather just do it myself again. And so that's what I'm doing, is I decided to, you know, stop working with them, which again, the account was there, so it goes back to them, which sucks, but whatever. I still get a lot of recognition from it. And so followers moved from there to my other account. And now I'm just really focusing on putting all of my effort into the content for my personal account, growing that one, really making it really big, but also making it into the account that I want it to be, you know, to really be able to be intimate with my followers and not feel like it's just for a money-making kind of scheme.
Is it easy right now to make a living as a content creator in China or is it like extraordinarily difficult? Or
I think that if you make it, you make it. But if you don't, you don't. Like it's really like black and white, I think, really. For me, like I've been in it for quite a few years at this point, and I have a lot of connections and brand, everything. For me, I'm able to just live purely off of being a creator. For a lot of other people, it's not quite as easy unless they're already a really big creator. Because if they're already really big, then these brands will be willing to spend more money on them. But the market right now in China is just people will bring their prices down so low because they want that ad. And so it's become a competition where it's like competing for the lowest prices, where now it's brought down everyone's market price that used to be really high, like really, really livable wage, to now really low. And it's really unhealthy and everyone knows it. But it's also something that we can't really change, because if you want to ask for more, there's always going to be someone that will be like, well, I'll take it for this price that's lower than yours. And of course, the client will have to be like, well, okay, save us some money. And so they'll go with that person. And so unless you're an account that you really have your own special qualities to it, then it's really hard to be able to ask for a higher amount. Luckily, like I said, I've been in this space for a long time. I have done multiple kinds of accounts. I know how to make myself needed by these brands. And so I ask for a quite high price, but clients still come a lot. We have a lot of ads every single month, every single week. Whereas some other creators who, they're bigger than us, but their price is a fourth of our price. And they only have 1 ad a month or 2 ads a month, where we have 6 or 8 for like 4 times their price. So it really depends on your strengths and how you choose to show your strengths and really portray them and take advantage of it.
I'm curious, what is the biggest brand deal you ever got?
I would say the biggest brand deal is probably with my car account, because my car account, the deal was for, how much was it? It was a little over 20,000 USD for like a 1-minute video of a car. And I mean, it was a intense video to film, but it's, you film for 3 hours intense and you make $20,000. That's insane. Like, who could say that at another job? Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. For the amount of work that I put in, I mean, yeah. Of course, I didn't get that amount personally. I got a very small portion of it because the company took it, but technically the ad did cost $20,000.
Yeah, that's really good. Especially like $140,000. That's like, that can pay for many months of rent in China.
Yeah, the price might sound like
That's
not quite a lot in America, but in China, this amount of money can get you so far. Like it's a lot of money. My normal account price is 20,000 RMB, which is like 2.8 USD, like 9. But yeah, so that's why I ended up quitting the car account too, because I was like, if I can get 2.9 for 1 ad and get multiple of those a month, and I get the entire 2.9K USD instead of 5% of a small percentage of 20,000, then why would I do that? So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad you're able to do this yourself and just being in completely creative control, and you're your own boss right now.
Yeah.
So can you kind of just give us like an overview of the major Chinese social media platform?
So Redbook is basically China's Instagram, but it's like the old Instagram where it's mostly pictures and stuff and you swipe. I would say it's more like the old Instagram. It's like not meant for trashy content that's just like AI random stuff. It's not meant for that. It's meant for like you posting, you traveling, and some experiences. And then there's Douyin, which is the Chinese TikTok. That one's pretty simple. It's literally the same thing. And then there is Bilibili, which is basically Chinese YouTube, just long form horizontal content. And then there is WeChat channels or WeChat videos. It's not really where a lot of young people will go to watch videos, like for leisure time. They might go there to watch the news or to watch some stuff about like farming or all that kind of stuff. there's Weibo, and Weibo is like Twitter. Weibo is literally Twitter. It's also not really commonly used as a social media platform. I also don't really use that one, but it's used by, I would say, older people more. Like not older, but like I would say 30s to 40s maybe. But the younger generation doesn't really use it quite as much.
You said Bilibili is a long video platform. Are you on there?
I am, but I don't really post long form. I still post my short form stuff there. I want to start making more long form because I watch long form all the time. Of course, I've grown up watching it, but have not gotten to making it myself yet.
Have you done live stream? Yeah.
Yes. Live stream is not my favorite. I like talking to people. That's fun. But live streaming in China is so much more intense, I feel like, than it is in the West, where when you start it, you just have to keep going. And you have to do it for hours at a time. It's meant to sell something. It's meant to, in China we call it 变现. 变现 means like to turn into currency basically. So it's meant to literally make money. And it just turns into a really long work job basically. Where it's fun, but it's not my favorite. I've done it a few times. I don't love to do it.
Do you think that's because like we see all these crazy videos about live streamings in China. There's like one room where there's like hundreds of people just live streaming, right? And do you think that's where the trend is going?
I think that in the US, yes. Because the US live streaming market is basically the Chinese live streaming market a few years ago for us. And so the US is like years behind us. Now, the way that you guys live stream right now is so basic to everyone here that it's funny. We're like, you guys could make so much more money if you just do this one thing that we do now. But China, on the other hand, we're so far ahead where we're at this point where it's like we're kind of stuck on the top of the hill, where it's like people are making a lot of money still, but they're kind of just like, they can't break past this point. And they're at the limit of their like creativity too. Like, what else can we do? We've done all these like, singing battles, all the everything, like made a music video, the whole live stream, made a whole performance out of a concert. Like, what else can we do? So I honestly don't know how it could be upgraded or changed even more, but knowing China, it's gonna happen. And it'll be something huge too, especially now with the AI and the robotic technology here. I think they're gonna upgrade the game, the live streaming game, by just bringing out the craziest stuff into live streaming. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but China will find a way.
Because China is always 2 to 3 years ahead. So what do you see as the next big thing coming out of China when it comes to social media? Or it could be like AI.
Yeah, I think it is AI actually. I think it's like 4 days ago now. The strongest video creating AI was released in China called Dance 2.0. And one of my friends is actually in the team that created it. And it's absolutely ridiculously insane. Like, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's so accurate. It's like kind of scary. Like, not scary to me really. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. And it's open to the public. Everyone can use it. There's no crazy restrictions. The only restriction is that, you can't use people's faces to fake their ID or anything, which I think is a great restriction. It needs to be like that so that, scammers can't come out and make videos of you doing illegal stuff and then you get arrested. But I think that AI is going to be the future from China for sure, because the tech, everything from here is insane, and it's so far ahead of the US that it's like not even funny. Like every day I open my WeChat news and I'm like, damn, another thing just came out. And it's just every day it's something new, and it's just something crazier and crazier in a good way. It's amazing, and it can all be used to make our lives even better. And I think that's exactly why it will become so big, is because it's not something that's meant to look like it's scary, it's gonna harm our lives instead, but they make it look like it's gonna be able to help us and make our lives improved.
I mean, how do you think AI will change social media?
It's already changing like crazy, at least Chinese social media, because they can use these Chinese like video creating AIs and everything. Oh, it's insane. Oh my God. One of the most popular AI videos that came out like 2 days ago was a video of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian in ancient China, and it was like of Kim Kardashian on the bed as like the princess or queen, and then Kanye comes in bursting through like the palace doors of like, you know, the Forbidden Palace, kind of ancient Chinese palace places, and he is mad at her, screaming, whatever, and then she's cheating on him, and then it moves to the next scene where all of a sudden Kanye is like singing a Chinese ballad in, you know, perfect Chinese, but it's still in his voice, and it's like 5 minutes long, and you would never be able to tell it's AI. It looks very, very real, and just like that kind of thing. It's everywhere on Chinese social media. It's really cool though. It's funny.
But I'm curious, is there like restriction on AI content? Because there's, you know, there's a restriction on Instagram or YouTube right now that if you have an AI content, they wouldn't push you as much because they see it as not authentic. I'm curious if there's something on Chinese platform that does that.
So it's the same restriction, but they have a workaround where as long as you have either the watermark on it that says it is made by AI, or if you write like in text or something on it that this is AI, just making it known that it's AI, then it's fine. Which I think is great. To be able to still post it and still have people be able to see it, but they're not being tricked by it. It's known by everyone that this is AI.
I'm curious, how have you used AI to help you with social media in China?
I actually just started using it more, especially like with the one that came out a few days ago. I have a new project coming up where it's educational. We're doing a new form of content is like a cartoon educational content. And so we used AI to produce this cartoon content, basically short form cartoon. And it's so cute and it's so accurate and it's amazing. And I used AI to first write the script, basically. Well, I gave it my idea, had it write the script, and then I had it write every single scene and by second, basically. That way when I gave that to the video producing AI, it would produce the exact video that I want. And I had the AI first produce the image of the character that I wanted, and then gave that to the video producing one and said, have this be the character at this scene, this scene, this scene, and had it make the video. And it's crazy. And so that was not for my social media personally, but for my personal social media, I use it all the time when I'm like writing or trying to find out any, you know, creative ideas. 'Cause sometimes you just need to bounce ideas off of people, but you don't have anyone there with you. And so if you need someone, sometimes AI is great for it. You just give it your ideas and then you're like, what do you think of this? Is this maybe not quite good? Or maybe would this sound bad in a cultural context? And then it can give you some help. It might not be able to tell you exactly like hard yes, no, but it can be like a guide into the correct direction for you. And so I think that's really helpful, is using it as a guide and a helper instead of having it do everything for you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because you still want it to be your idea or your general creative idea, but you know the AI is just an assistant to you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're just you're just another person in the MCN where they're telling you what to do.
Exactly.
You know, the AI is the MCN. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you also mentioned the technology in China it's so advanced and it's in your everyday life. I mean, what is something that's super advanced in China that's not seen in the US or other places, and you find it to be extremely useful and convenient?
I guess it's two things. One to two things. It's a video that recently went really viral on my Western social media, is on the Great Wall, or like a lot of hiking mountains basically in China. They have this new technology where it's AI exoskeleton. And so it's this, you put on like this belt basically, and there's straps that will go around your legs, and it holds it into place on both your legs, and it feels like you're not really wearing much. And then you turn it on, and instead of this, AI is predicting when you're going to be moving and how hard you need to push to help you and assist you get up this mountain with like little to no effort. And when I had gone to the Great Wall, we saw it and we were like, oh, we have to try that because it was brand new. And so we got it, and it was so cool. It was so cool. The second you turn it on and you take a step forward, it's crazy. It's like my legs are not my own. My legs are literally not my own. Like, I'm not walking right now. I'm walking, but I'm not walking. Like, the AI exoskeleton will help you walk. And it is the craziest feeling ever. You can run, and you're not out of breath. You can just be talking to your friend running next to you, and it's like nothing.
Wow.
It's the craziest thing. And so we used it to hike up the Great Wall, and it was so fun, so cool. I ran up the entire wall for like 3 hours. I finished. I was not tired at all. I was like, let's go again. That was so fun. And so it's great. It's helpful not just because it's fun, but for people who are elderly, or if you have bad knees, bad hips, if you're, too young, or you're just tired in general, renting that, it's a life changer. Some people who couldn't go to the Great Wall before because they can't hike upstairs, they can go up now because they have that exoskeleton. And then the other technology that I saw that was insane was when we got to the top of the wall, it was a launch pad. And this launch pad, it has a giant drone on it. I mean, it's not like crazy big, but it's like, I would say it's about 2 to 3 feet by 2 to 3 feet. And it brings delivery, like food deliveries, from like the nearest town to on top of the Great Wall. And so you can order delivery from the middle of nowhere on top of the Great Wall, and it's there in, I think it was 10 minutes. It was actually insane. And it cost me, I had ordered Subway and chaji, like a milk tea, and it cost me like $8 for 2 sandwiches and 2 milk teas, with a free delivery fee, and it was there in 10 minutes. It was the craziest thing, and it came, and it was just a crazy experience. I don't even know how to explain it.
Over here, I think one of the most difficult thing is really if you need something. Actually, my friends proposed this to me the other day. He was saying, let's say like if you need to pick up a piece of camera from someone, for a shoot, right? Either you have to get it from them, or they have to deliver to you. But what if you have like someone like a courier service, or someone who can just pick that up? You pay them, and then they bring it to you. But there's not a service like that here.
Yeah, we have that here. I was gonna say that's just daily life here. That's a innovative thought for America that you just had right there. But for China, that's existed here for years. Like that's a daily thing we do here. Like my kale juice right here, I had this delivered in 15 minutes from across the street. And if you want to deliver, like you said, a piece of camera equipment, this remote, or say this light, you can order someone in that app. They'll show up at your door. They will take the item, and it will be brought to the other person wherever they live, in the city, out of the city, doesn't matter. If it's in the city, it's within like an hour, 30 minutes, sometimes 10 to 15. And it's like $2. It's ridiculously cheap, and it's so convenient. It's just normal life here.
Yeah, it's a cheat code.
It's a life cheat code.
Living in China. So what is a Chinese brand that will be everywhere in the US in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, I think definitely it's going to have to be BYD. The EV cars are absolutely insane. And BYD is already starting to enter Europe and trying to get into America, but they're not quite there yet. But once they break in, it's over for the American car market. BYD is a whole different level. Like they have a high-end department where those cars, those are insane. They can become boats. They can jump. They can turn 360 degrees. Not turning, but they can literally just twirl by the wheels 360 degrees. And it's absolutely insane. And they're so high-end, so nice, the US market can't compete. So once BYD enters the market, it's over for the American companies.
Man, I mean, the only reason they're not winning it now is because it's literally not allowed in the US.
Yeah, they're banned. Because they know if they let it happen, the market's done for it.
Wow. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like the US has gone backwards in terms of EV. I mean, they took away the $7,500 EV credit. They took away the carpooling for EVs.
Crazy.
We're going back. We're dinosaurs over here.
It's literally going back in time.
It's wild. I mean, how has living in China changed your mindset or the way you think about things?
So much. So much to the point where every time I go back to the US, I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm in a third world country now. Because life is so convenient here. Like I said, ordering delivery, so cheap, gets here so fast. If you need to have something delivered to another friend or something, so cheap, so fast. Go anywhere. We have high-speed trains that are, again, so cheap, so fast. and everything is just insane. And so when I go back to the US, where in Arizona, no public transport. Yes, we have buses and like a monorail, but it goes like 2 miles. That doesn't count. And then, so no public transport. And then Ubers are expensive, ridiculously expensive. You still have to tip. That adds another cost. That's not fun. And then delivering food, Uber Eats, also so expensive and it takes so long. They also mess up your food half the time. Or they'll eat it for you. It gets it's half eaten. Like, what? That's crazy. And then just you have to drive a car everywhere. It's just, life is so inconvenient, I feel like, and it's just so slow, and it just feels like a third world country. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
Because I remember in one video you mentioned your American dream has faded. Now you're pursuing the Chinese dream.
Yeah. Everyone used to say, "Oh my God, the American dream, American dream." That's what I grew up with. I grew up hearing the American dream is so amazing, and then I grew up. And then I came to like realize, what American dream? What do you mean? No one my age can buy a house. No one can get married, have kids. Like, it's too expensive. Even having a minimum wage job or a normal paying job, you can't pay your rent even. It's unlivable. And then I came to China and I found out there's so many opportunities here. There's so much to do. It's convenient. It's cheap. It's made for people to live and actually enjoy life. And it made me realize where the American dream doesn't exist anymore, but the Chinese dream exists now. And it's just because there's so many opportunities here. There's so much to do and explore, and so many things to make, and so much innovation and creativity waiting to be brought about by people here, that it's just the Chinese dream now.
And do you see a lot of people moving there right now? There's an uptick of people moving and traveling there?
For sure. Travel, for sure. China's become really popular with social media in the past year. The past propaganda, after Speed came to China, middle of last year, he broke down all of those walls of propaganda because people were able to see how the real China is. And they're like, what the heck? That's not the China we were told about. And then they saw how it actually is and they're like, maybe I want to go there. And then this past year with all the no visas, it's free visas going back and forth from China. And so people would come just because it's easy now. People come, they'll travel, they'll do stuff here, and they love it. They recommend it to their friends, more people come, and then the more that the real China gets seen, the more that more people hear about the real China, they'll come and see it themselves too and spread the word. And it's a crazy change to see happening in person, that this one place that used to be demonized basically is now being seen in its real light. And it's being seen how it should be, as a crazy, awesome, and fun and innovative, high-tech place with crazy culture and everything.
I must say, you made an amazing decision. Honestly, it might not even be in the future. It is the now.
I agree. Totally agree.
That's where it is. That's the place to be. If you're not in China, you're not anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. If you're not in China, you're not anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling I get when I'm in China. I just feel like it just feels alive. You can feel the energy in the air. It feels like you can be fully present because things are changing so fast in front of your eyes. You have to pay attention. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're somewhere you're super happy right now, and
thank you.
You get to grow as a person. So thank you, Gavin, for sharing your story with us, and it is super inspirational. Thank you for being so transparent and so open about so many things.
Of course.
Also, if their brands wants to break into China, Gavin is also a person that can help you, right?
Yeah. Got you on every front.
He'll help get you into Peking University.
I can try.
Yeah, if you're smart enough, he can help you get there.
But yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity too. It was awesome to talk to you and be able to share my story. And yeah, if anyone needs help or wants to reach out, feel free.
There it is. Until next time, my name is Victor, and this is
Gavin.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Peace.